Luyolo, on gendered violence, the president, was it a few months ago when he retermed it to male-perpetrated violence? You know? Why do you think we have seen such a high increase in those crimes? And why do you think gendered violence in South Africa is so particularly high?
Well, I think firstly, it's always been high. I think, we're just starting to talk about it right now. It's always been high. Women have been at risk in this country because of men, because of us. Because the abusers are the ones that masquerade in, no, we must protect our women. So even the language is incorrect. Our women. No, it's not our women. It's women, and so even our language needs to change as men. And so we tell ourselves that because we love our mothers and we want to protect our mothers, that we want to protect all women. When in fact, we are part of the problem, in these circles that we find ourselves in as men, in our own cultures as well as amadoda, we find ourselves reinforcing, whether consciously or unconsciously, these really toxic ideas, toxic language, toxic behaviors in our spaces. So I think what is happening now is an amazing thing where men are trying to come up and say, you know what, we are no longer going to speak to women about the crisis that they are facing, but we need to speak to each other. And I think, particularly this year, myself, I've had to call myself out on so many things to say that, I'm part of the problem. I can't say because someone is convicted for rape, it's them. No, yeah. I'm part of the problem as a man because there's a positionality that I hold. There's, the idea of masculinity as well can be so toxic to women. So I think what we need to be doing about this is men need to act, we need to stand up, we need to speak to each other. No longer should it be how we say women need to protect themselves. We need to now call out ourselves and check ourselves. And be okay with being called out, because that's the other problem with us, is that we always want to shift the blame and say, no, it's that man, or then, no, it's you, it's me. And so that's where I find myself. I'm deeply reflecting all the time on how I can be better in this society, of how I can be better when I go back home in December, because you go back home in December in the Eastern Cape and you get confronted immediately by these cultures. Women must cook, men must be outside and, sitting there with abanye madota, and we're just there, but where it starts is in those spaces, right? In those spaces when you wake up and you don't make your bed because you know that your grandmother's going to do it. It's for you to say, no, this is wrong. I'm going to change this narrative. And so, yes.
Thank you, Luyolo.
Thank you so much for having me.